Everyone, my name is Cyndy McDonald. I'm an instructor for the UCLA College Counseling Certificate Program, and I'm also kind of a geek. And I like talking to people about technology. I love and embrace technology, and I do user stories about different technology tools that we need to use in our business and in education. So today I have with me Miss April Paris Joseph. Is that right? I see Miss April on my screen. And April is a consultant from the Seattle area. And she has been a strong user of one of those technology tools, GradBetter. So, April, thank you for being with me today and sharing a little bit about GradBetter and how it helps you. So, first of all, tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I've been in practice since 2021. I started as my youngest graduated high school, and I was looking for my next thing after being a stay-at-home mom. And I dove in. I did the UCLA certificate class. You were one of my wonderful professors. I did STI. I did PDI. I kind of did everything I could learn because I am also kind of a nerd. And one of my mantras in life is that nerds eat well when they're 50. So like go nerds. So yeah, and I have a special place in my heart for the athletes, although this year all of a sudden I have a bunch of artists, which is
Ah,
like super fun to because I get to learn new stuff, I guess, and the kids are cool. So
they are.
that's my like me thing, I guess. I started using GradBetter about a year ago. I started playing with it and I piloted it with a couple of my younger students. One of the things that really drove me to start using it was that it's very functional on iPhone or on any phone and on a tablet, which teenagers, um, I was struggling with my teenage students to get them to really be operating in the app I was using because it couldn't work on those devices. And I started to feel the pain myself when I didn't want to travel with my laptop and just my iPad. So there was that. And then as I did more and more digging into it, realized that I could combine a lot of the tools I was using into one space.
Mhm.
And I wouldn't have to keep paying for so many different things. So that has just reduced my cost profile
Mhm.
and therefore up to my profit profile.
Absolutely. And it's always easier to have fewer tools and have tools that you know do the work that you need to do from a perspective that you want to offer it. So, and that's speed of technology. So what are some five things? What are the five things that GradBetter does really well?
Yeah. So my favorite five that I picked out for today. The first one is list building and using List Hero. So they merged with List Hero recently. I am loving having them together. So when I want to build a list, I start with positioning, and this is my kiddo Benny Brilliant. Benny Brilliant has a sister, Belinda, and a mom, Beatrice. But we come over to positioning. So the first thing you do in here is you calculate. So this is the List Hero in action. If you weren't a list hero person, this is really cool. You create their course GPA score using just the five core academics. And then you count up how many times they could have taken an AP or IB course and how many they did take. So that's how we look at rigor. Um,
So
and then
what was offered and then what they took advantage
That's
of.
right. Exactly. And then you look at their grades on their graded papers. I use this a little more subjectively. I have kids that are A students. I've seen their writing. I'm going to put them at a B,
Mhm.
or a C, and some kids that are getting a B. I have the occasional B that I'm like, that's A writing. So I do use my own discernment in there. And then you put in their SAT score. You can tell I've made Benny kind of a superstar. So he's going to use his SAT with an 800 and a 750. Please don't laugh when you see the women's colleges on the list, but I just sometimes want to get the girls to look at those. So it's maybe I should be using his sister. But anyway, then we talk about the extracurriculars. They're participating in academic competitions, DECA, HOSA, Knowledge Bowl, whatever have you. Are they getting recognized in these competitions at the state, regional, national level? The visual arts, are they involved with those? Is this a student athlete? Are they on club teams? Are they going to be recruited? What leadership are they involved with or volunteering? Is it significant? So again, we're using a little of our judgment and our knowledge as IECs. Is this significant? And are they working more than 10 hours a week? So this creates their CAP score, these data points. And then there's also these reference questions that I personally like to track. Are they going to get to AP Physics and Calculus? I do think it matters. It's not impacting their score, but I do think it matters.
Mhm.
And then if they're going to do the IB or AP capstones, those things. So you get this score, and the score, I have to move you so I can see things, has a range. And we use that range to then put them into categories. So now we've got this, and you can go to compare and you can see where they fall, what's building their score. And we're going
Mhm.
to go into these 9 groups of colleges. So this blue line represents the student. So that's the
Yeah.
25th percentile, the 75th percentile of admitted students.
Mhm.
And so we can see he might get into a level 9 school,
Mhm.
more likely in the eights and really feeling good about the sevens. So I do that. And then when I want to go build his list, sorry, I have to keep moving you. I'm going to go to suggestions because I like to build in suggestions and then have the kids move over.
Mhm.
So I'm going to add from a search. It opens up a new tab. And I can come here and I've got all the different search criteria that I can throw in, and we'll say I'm only going to look at groups 9, 8, and 7 schools.
Oh, wow.
And then
You have a lot of control over the filters for the search.
yeah, there's a lot of control here. There's a lot you can, I only did a few things, but you can see that all of a sudden, this is a kid that, yeah, we should be talking about Princeton, Harvard, Georgia Tech, Dartmouth. Like he might get into these schools. Of course, we still want to balance the list.
Right.
But if I click Dartmouth here, we come back and, oh, do I have to refresh? I might have to refresh to make it
Yeah,
happen
you might.
faster. But there we go. Dartmouth is there now. And if the student comes in and takes a look and is like, ooh, I do like Dartmouth, they hit the plus button. And now this is where you shouldn't laugh at me, but now Dartmouth is here.
Mhm. Mhm.
Okay. Then the next step I do with this list building, and all of this goes off of list building, right? I come to the grid and we've got this cool grid that gives families a visual
Oh, wow.
where the schools fall,
Mhm.
based on admissions rate and then based on how I'm evaluating them to
Mhm.
fall into line. So there's 2 ways I can do the evaluation. I always start by applying the recommendations from List Hero, and they
Mhm.
are based on, again, where's the student in the line. I can personalize my labels. I did that. I like my wild card low odds. Fantastic.
Oh, definitely.
So I created those. Um,
Mhm.
Okay, so I was gonna use their things, and so some of these changed because I went and used the automatic ratings.
Mhm.
But then I can come in here and I can say, you know what, Bryn Mawr is not going to be fantastic odds. It's going to be low odds for whatever reason. I just don't think that's going to work out.
Mhm.
Berkeley, I think this is overzealous to think it's going to be good odds. So I'm going to call it wild card,
Mhm.
and I'll
Mhm.
make those changes. And then that's what's going to be reflected up here.
Wow.
So that
Well, I love that you have this data and that it gives you a rubric that you can use to evaluate the student, and then you can personalize it with your own knowledge and of the student and expertise and things like that.
that's what I love about List Hero. So we put all this in there, and then parents, I send my parents to come over to Merit Insights. It's got a different name on the student side, but it's the same tool. And they can come in here and they can see basically, you know, estimated merit aid based on the student's profile. And I can always go back and edit it.
Mhm.
And yeah, so they're estimating this and estimating cost, right? We can look at details about merit. The family has access to this.
Mhm.
Percent need that's met, net cost, so they can learn about these things. They're great about putting in these little explanations so families can have some more autonomy
Mhm.
about things. And then they can look at awards. Um, and is this, yeah, award history, different scholarships that the schools offer, this kind of stuff. So there's a lot of information, even policies on stacking versus displacement.
Oh. Mhm.
right? So they
How
have
they do, how
access.
they consider like outside scholarships. They replace student loans or replace their own scholarships, things like that.
Exactly. So that's all here. So the family can go through, look at all this, and they can start removing schools from the list and saying this is going to be too expensive for us. This doesn't work. There's other formats too that they can look at it. It will show like projected income for the student. They can do a 4-year budget. I'm not going to pull all of that up because I know there's only so much time you can let me talk, but it's all
But top five things.
I'm still on
So
number one,
what do
to
you
be clear.
next?
To be clear, I'm still on number one of my list. And I forgot to tell you that what's coming soon to this, let me go to position, back to positioning. Can't believe I forgot to say this because it's not here yet. But what's coming soon is there will be a way to apply in and out of state
Oh. Mhm.
for students for public universities. It will also start looking at particular majors.
Mhm.
So they're really driving hard to get that data that colleges don't necessarily want to give us, but they're getting it. So we'll be able to look at like what's happening with your comp sci major. I had deep conversations with the family this year of twins where, um, the student with the better profile kept getting tougher entry into schools. And I'm like, it's her major. It's a different thing than what the other one wants. And so it's making this difference and trying to get families to understand that. It will give me a visual for that.
Mhm.
Um,
Exactly.
okay. So all of that to build lists. And then I'm going to go to Benny's dashboard. Um, there we go. And then I can create this PDF report for
Oh.
them. And so I like to include the GPA and test scores because I think it's just raw data. This is the standard template language that comes with GradBetter. You can change this. I liked it, so I've just left it alone. Um,
Mhm.
and then you can choose what
Oh.
goes into this report. I personally just like the list and the grid. So the view that I showed you, but
Mhm.
also the view where we were comparing that had the pie chart and all the bar graphs on it so you could see each group. That's available. You can put in application requirements. You can put in the essays. You can put in whatever you want. That's the comparison chart. I don't like having that in there. Um, and so you can go through there. You can add an explanation of SAI. Um, you can put
Mhm.
in all the college profiles. That creates like a 100-page report. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that, you
Yeah,
know,
that's why you want them to log in and look at things because then they look at it. You're not just printing out.
exactly. And then they have, you can explain list here, you can explain financial aid 101. So there's so much flexibility in this. You generate a report, it goes to your email.
Mhm.
I take that and have families sign off on it. So that's actually, oh, I got 1 and 2 in at the same time. I got my list hero stuff and my merit insights that I really love. So that was 2. I feel
Okay, good,
I feel a little better.
good, good, good. And
Okay.
you mentioned the data. So they're pulling their data from, do you know what sources they're pulling?
Yeah, they're pulling from the
Oh.
CDS, they're pulling from iPads, they're pulling from, and they're working really hard to be fast. This is one of those good uses of AI. Built
Mhm.
some AI tool that's scouring for it. As soon as it pops up, they are grabbing it. They're not waiting for it to get put out into CDS necessarily. They're pulling it from other original sources. So I think that's really cool. So it's very fresh data. Okay. Speaking about data. I love the Data Hub. And this is really what this is more college data if for people who've been using that. I
Mhm.
have for years felt like I really want to use this tool, but I don't understand it. So I have to thank another counselor who finally gave me a tutorial on it, and I'm in love. So you just have all this beautiful data. It's really the CDS again, but you can
Mhm.
send this to families. It has a share link, so you can just click on this and shoot someone an email with it.
Wow.
My favorite use case has been when we're finishing up lists. I don't know why I'm spinning so much. And I had a student who really wanted Clemson, right? So it doesn't even matter which schools we do. I'm not going to pull up a comparison, but we'll just say we'll stick with Syracuse, Baylor, and NYU because they're here. And we'll say that this student really wants to go to Baylor, which we all know is a great school.
Mhm.
But mom and dad said NYU. So I think this is a great place where we're building the list and we're trying to pick between those last few. And also next April when they're trying to make their final decisions,
Mhm. Yeah.
right? So you can
Yep.
see here graduation rate, Sorry, it does a lot. It does a lot. Retention rate, just and it's just in this beautiful format. You can look at diversity, you can look at where everyone's
Visual.
coming from, median earnings, 5 years post grad, all of this stuff.
Wow.
So the young lady that I sent this to this year really wanted Clemson. Dad wanted UT Austin, and I forget what the third school was, but I gave this to her, and I showed it to her. I said, "You can share this with your parents, but honey, you lose. Like the data says, you lose. Dad's not going to relent." And she was like, "You're right. We'll get rid of Clemson." And we fixed her list another way because she doesn't want to go to UT Austin, presuming she could get it, as we all know.
Exactly.
But anyway,
Exactly.
that's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
And that's where the in-state and out-of-state is a really big plus
yeah,
to be able to have. So,
yeah.
and
And
just to explain, just in case people don't know what CDS is,
mhm,
that's common data set. So that's they're pulling from the common data set, the iPads, maybe Peterson's, but I using AI, I agree with you. I think that's a very valuable, appropriate way to pull data as it comes out because you just can't do it manually. That's the only way, the only intelligent, significant, way to do it. I think that's great.
yep, yep. And I'll be honest, I haven't even gotten my brain around this explore page
Hmm.
or the analysis page. These are still kind of blowing my mind. But I'm in love with the first two, the snapshot and the compare. So,
Well, and I want to point out that that's something else to know about technology is you don't have to use it all. Use the parts that mean something to you and the students, and as it evolves and as you evolve, then those will come about in the future. But that doesn't inhibit the value of the program in any way.
right,
So I
that's
think,
right. That's right. Which is, I know some people understand this, so I show it really fast.
yeah, it's pretty.
It is very pretty. So then, okay. Oh, all right. So now I have to do this. All right. Let me go backwards. So I can go back to, I'm back into my Benny. So here's Benny. We're back to Benny. And I'm going to go to his dashboard because this is the other thing I love. It's kind of the beginnings of the developing CRM. And so what I love here, we've got Benny's meeting notes.
Hmm.
Right. And so they're just always here for Benny's parents to come and see. I have found that I'm actually getting better uptick with meeting note reading by putting it in here than I was sending out an email. I
Okay.
don't know why, but that's working for me. This is a bit of a relic note that I had put in before they developed the resources tab. And so
Yeah.
now I'm using my resources tab to put my meeting links. Um, I will put in, SAT prep information, whatever are the things that I want the students to continuously be able to find readily. And I can skew it for what the correct age. So I sent the College Board out to every sophomore
Mm,
recently. So they all now have it. And I'm like, let's start thinking about what your testing plan is because you're going to take the PSAT soon.
right.
Um,
Right.
so I'm loving resources. Everybody's also got a to-do list. And the to-do lists, the student can mark when they're working on it. So
Nice.
Benny should be working on his college research. And then
Hmm.
it moves down automatically.
Oh, nice.
So the things that they haven't started are at the top, what they're working on is in the middle. And then if they're done with something, it's all the way at the bottom.
Nice. So you're
Okay.
teaching those organizational skills too.
And organizational, which we all know they desperately need. Um,
Hmm.
and the other fun thing, so I happen to use AchieveWorks. I won't get into that, but I can create, this is new. Listen, the GradBetter folks are just constantly updating and fixing. They're super responsive to our feedback and what we need. So now they've created this, I'm going to call it stacking. That's not the right word. Um, to-dos. So students going to do this to do number one, assessment one, what kind of student are you? And then I can put in here the next to do, oh, because it's not on their list. Um, I could put a next to do. We'll just use this one. I have an assessment too, but it's not showing on the students list because I didn't put it there. And then
Hmm.
that would be next. So when they
Oh,
save it,
and
um,
then parents could log in and see what is next.
parents can log in and see all to-dos. And then when they finish to do one in a series, to do two pops up automatically. And so you can create this series, which I think is really valuable in a lot of cases. So AchieveWorks is a 1, 2, 3, 4 series. I like it there. Use some of Stephen Antonoff's surveys as well that I have series 1, 2, 3, 4. And also in essay processes, as we're prepping Common Apps, right? Do your brainstorming, write your first draft. You can create these 1, 2, 3, 4s, and when they mark it as done, it pops right up. So I think that's a really cool new feature, fairly new feature that I'm not even fully taking advantage of yet.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, resources, to-dos, and then the main dashboard. So I love that piece of organizing the students. The other cool thing about this, sorry, is that the students can add to-dos.
Oh, nice.
Oh, I think it creates more of a collaborative
Mhm.
feeling. And I've seen a couple of the kids actually do it, which is great. Because then it's like, oh, you wanted me to look at this with you in the next meeting. This is really cool.
Yep.
Um, okay. See, I'm doing good. I got 4.
You are.
Sure. All right. So the other thing I really love about this is that it allows you to build a team. I am a solopreneur. I don't know that I'll ever not be a solopreneur,
Mhm.
but I do have a VA. And so my VA is in here and I'm not going to pull all that up because then it's going to be too much blurring, I think, for you to have to do later. But if I go into my company, I can add partners. And I've added my VA, and my VA has just the access I need them to have so that they
Mhm.
can do all of my onboarding and put in name, address, blah, blah, blah for me. So I don't
Mhm.
have to do any of that.
Yeah.
That is super helpful to me. Um, and if you
And
do
do
have
you
a
pay
team,
extra for doing that?
I'm not paying extra for that.
And that's nice. That's
Um, so they're structured where you're paying like an amount per student.
oh. Mhm.
And over a certain number of students, you start getting discounts.
Mhm. Mhm.
Somewhere on the site it says contact us if you're working with this.
That works. That works.
Yeah, yeah, so you do that. So I love that. And then the thing that is in, I know this is kind of controversial. This is like the hot topic of the day, but this app locker, I'm really excited about it. Because you can bring in all of your application information from previous students.
Oh.
Have a place. It's
Mhm.
not fully live yet, so I haven't really started using it, but it'll look like this, where you can come in, and you can see, you know, this would be my view of my
Mhm.
students, right? I can see where they
Mhm.
were from,
Mhm.
all this language stuff. This is their whole Common App in a very spreadsheet type fashion. Um,
Mhm.
GPAs, weighted, all this stuff that we all know is there, but just a quick view to see.
Mhm.
And this is what happened in the app, right? They submitted these SAT scores, or they didn't. Subject tests that got submitted. I mean, this thing goes so far over, but there is a way, and I haven't played with it a lot, but you can click on one of these. I've seen it, and it will open it up in like a PDF view.
Oh. Mhm.
Get
Mhm.
it more reasonably if you want to look at an individual. So I think this is exciting going forward. You can choose to put student essays in or not. It's not going to use AI to share essays outward, as far as I know right now. Um,
Right. That's
but it would
important.
allow me to go back, which I think is more valuable with the essays personally. It will allow me to go back and look and say, oh, Susie got into Georgetown. What did Susie, not what was Susie's topic, but what was Susie's writing?
Yeah.
And
What's her approach and what?
yeah, and I can refresh myself on that quality of writing
Mhm.
and then go and look at Jimmy, whose parents think he should go into Georgetown, and go,
Yep.
ooh, Jimmy's not writing at this level. Or maybe we can get Jimmy to that, but maybe we can't. Or
Right.
whatever it is. So it'll help me with those evaluations. So I think
Mhm.
that's super cool.
Activities, different things like that. Yeah.
Yes, the activities would all be there, so I would be able to refresh my memory on exactly what that student did. We
Mhm.
all have that like half recollection.
Mhm.
I mean, even if you're only doing 10, 15 students a year in 4 years, you just can't
Yeah, you
do
can. You can. And again, it's nice to have that data where you can go back and you're not citing the student, but you're arming yourself with data that you can use rather than just your recollection. So
right.
yeah.
And it's a clean way to store it. I personally have struggled with just having everything willy-nilly in my Google Drive, trying to figure out
Mhm.
what when I want
Mhm.
to find it again, how do I find it quickly?
Mhm.
So that's been a challenge for me. Okay, so those are all my favorite things going.
So to recap, the first thing is the list building.
Yeah, list building with List Hero,
Okay.
getting that together and being able to produce those personalized reports.
Mm-hmm.
Love that. And the fact that that building will soon include the data around major and in state, out of state,
Yeah.
for creating, for deciding, probability of admissions. The second thing is the merit insights and the financial aid estimates, and giving parents a lot of power over that. They can choose, I think I forgot to say, whether or not I can see the information they put in to create their decisions or not, but it's their choice. So they have all the autonomy over that. And I am not a financial advisor, and I tell my families that over and over and over again.
Mhm.
I just want them to be informed. Um,
Mhm.
then I love the data hub and more college data in there and being able to just give parents, again, the flat data. And even it's helping the students too. They just look at it and they're like, oh, that's what my
Mhm.
parents are saying to me. And then they get to decide. They're empowered with the information to make
Right.
their
Right.
and then I
Very
have
important.
the dashboard and the organization systems happening with the dashboard, the resources, the to-dos, and the notes, having that all in there organized. Um, the ability and then the ability to bring in my virtual assistant as part of that and have her help me with things. And then the fifth thing is the app blocker. And I haven't even really like delved into that. I will do that, I'm slowly thinking about how I'm going to get my old stuff in there, but then it's going to be this class of 26 is
Mhm.
really, I think, where we'll see the power of it when I'm working with my 27s next spring.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. That's true. Well, and I mean, you've identified a lot of powerful tools and resources that can really make your work as an advisor so, streamline it and make it so much more powerful. What is the one thing that you're looking forward to or wish that it did, that it didn't do, that it,
I am really looking forward to when the CRM functionality gets stronger. And I know that they're on it. Like they're really, even just what they've been doing with to-dos and creating these stacking to-dos, that's, a message that they're really looking at wanting to integrate that more, but the work just hasn't happened yet. Um,
Mhm.
but things that I do like, it's a student and parent portal. There's two separate logins right now for student and parent, but it's
That is key. That is the number one thing I recommend when any portal that you're working with students, they should not share a login with parents. They should be separate. I totally agree.
And we were talking before we started, but we both had a whole gaggle of babies. If you made me have a separate login for each one of my babies, just for the soccer club where only two of the boys played, I wanted to kill you. I need one login where I can look at both kids. And if you
Yep.
start getting families with 3 and 4, like the parents need an Uber account where they can control for all the students.
Oh,
Um, and that's not even getting into your point, which is you don't want the parents and students sharing a login. That's not teaching the kid to adult.
no, no, no. There's just
Yeah.
it's
So that's getting
bad
worked.
practice all the way around.
Yes. That's getting worked on. And then the other thing that they're going to work on little things that just make our life like, why can't I move this? Okay, there we go. They're going to work on little things that are going to make our lives better. So like if we do, I have to go backwards. Let me look at his comparison. So comparison is where you can see all the data.
Mhm.
And right now you look at it and you scroll, and now I've lost the top row.
Mhm.
So I know it's on the agenda to fix it so that this scrolls, the data scrolls, but we keep
That top row.
top
Yeah.
rows visible, just like you would in an Excel spreadsheet. So that's coming. And then they're building out, which I hope is going to be done soon, the application export tab, so that when we're looking at actually tracking the steps through the application, we all get a clean way to look at it. Um, and I think they do a good job. So we'll see when it comes out. But I think he's really focused on understanding that we're all so unique in
Mhm.
how we run our practice. So they're focused on creating a tool in a way that lets us each do whatever we want. because he's like, I can't do everything everybody wants. He's like, but if I, I'm always having these conversations where I'm like, but I want, he's like, yeah, in April, I talked to 3 other people that want these other things. So if I do this, if I do it this way, then you can each do your little personalization for
Mhm.
your clients in your practice.
Mhm.
So I think it's going to be good. I'm feeling good about it coming out, in the next few weeks in time for where we really need it.
Yeah. So when people watch this, they may see all these things you're talking about have already been implemented, because that is they use an agile software development model approach, and then that's talking to the users, which is also so important. It's easy for programmers to sit back and say, oh, well, we can do this and this and this, but if that's not something that means something to you, then it's not going to be as effective. So I love the fact that they go to the users and listen and implement. So I will put in the show notes links to GradBetter, places where people can go to schedule a more in-depth demonstration. And thank you so much for sharing your time and your enthusiasm for this. As we talked about in the beginning, it's so nice to have a user share their experience. It makes such a difference. So thank you, April.
You're welcome. I'm going to hit the stop button finally. You're welcome. It was fun.